Welcome everyone. My name is Rhea. We are here another Monday for movement with MS Views and News for some chair Pilates. So if you don't already know, or you haven't gotten the email, or maybe you just are looking for props to use, we're going to be using light weights. So I'll be using 2 to 3 pound dumbbells, but if you don't have dumbbells, some soup cans or some water bottles, like 12-ounce or 16-ounce water bottles will be helpful if you want to add that little extra challenge for the class today. Okay. All right. So let's begin. We won't start with the weights at first, but we will move into them. So I just have mine off to the side here. And taking a seat where you feel comfortable and feet are flat, about hip distance apart onto the chair. We'll start first by going head down to the toes. So I want you to start first by looking to the right and to the left. And as you are twisting your neck, obviously don't go past any point of discomfort or into any point of pain. But as you're twisting and looking from side to side, lift yourself up a little taller. We'll go 2 more each way. Try to lower the shoulders down. And then as you look forward, a gentle nod of chin to chest. And then just a slight lift of your gaze up to the ceiling. So as you're looking down and up 3 more times, let's start to sync up the breath with the movement if you haven't already. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, lift back up. 1 more time, chin to chest. And lift back up. So now when you look forward, again, never moving yourself into any point of pain or discomfort, but leaving or leaning your ear to your shoulder to one side, and then a gentle lean to the other. And so if you'd like more of a stretch, your hands can rest down by your side instead of on your lap, or even grab underneath of your chair. We'll do 2 more each way. Just noticing or taking note of what side might carry a little bit more tension or what side kind of feels a little different. Good. All right. So now from there, lift your shoulders up to your ears on the inhale and slowly lower them back down as you exhale. We want to make sure that we're not just dropping them down. Lift up 3 and exhale, release. And sometimes some of us live up here where your shoulders are just like earrings up by your ears. So when you lower your shoulders down, you're like, oh, look at all that space my neck has. So 1 more time to lift and hold for 3, 2, 1, and then relax the shoulders down like something is pulling your fingertips towards the earth. Okay. All right. Now from there, you're going to reach those arms up on the inhale towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, you're going to lower them back down. I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see what's happening or what is not happening. So what we don't want to happen is that you're flaring the ribs and arching the back. That's a big no-no right now. Instead, keep your spine and your head reaching towards the ceiling and nothing else moves other than the actual shoulder joint. We'll do that 1 more time. And you're going to leave the right arm up as your left arm now goes down. Okay, and then switch, like ships passing in the night. 1 arm comes up, 1 arm goes down, and switch. 1 arm comes up, 1 arm comes down. Now, really resisting the urge to just kind of lean to one side as you're reaching the arm up. So stay stacked. All about alignment here in Pilates. There you go. That's it. That's better. 1 more time, right arm up, left arm down. Last time, left arm up, right arm down. Now hold this position, place your right hand onto either your lap or your chair. And it's okay if you're on the other side. Don't worry, we always have 2 sides. But you're going to lean over to the side into a nice side bend. And then inhale back up. We'll do 4 of those. Exhale up and over. Inhale up. We're creating the space into the rib cage, from the ribs to the hips, 2. So that we can breathe a little better. Last one. As you breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, we'll switch the arms. So right arm's up, left arm down. And lean over on the exhale. Lift up, inhale. Exhale, reaching up and over. Now check on that right shoulder or whichever arm is lifted. Make sure that the shoulder isn't up by the ear, but soften it down. 2 more times. Up and over. And 1 more time. Okay, so now that right arm is actually now going to come down across to your left outside knee. Rotating your head to look back behind you with your left hand holding onto the back of your chair. We'll hold this twist, this rotational movement through the spine for 2 more breaths, 3 total. When you inhale, can you lift a little taller? When you exhale, can you twist yourself a little bit more? Now, on your next inhale, sway your body around to the other side. Your left hand hooks to your right thigh, right hand maybe grabs onto the chair or the back of your chair behind you. 2 more breaths to hold, inhale. Exhale it out. So the breath in Pilates is a major component of it if we're just kind of holding the breath or hyperventilating the breath. Last exhale, we're not going to be getting the most benefit out of it. Inhale, bring yourself back forward. Hands to the thighs or knees. Inhale, pull your heart forward, open up and expand the chest. As you exhale, push into the knees around the spine. So from the side, it looks like this. We'll do that 3 more times. Inhale, pull the shoulders back and down, lift the heart, lift the gaze. Exhale, push or maybe pull into the knees, whatever feels like comfortable for you as you curl the tailbone underneath of you, chin to chest. 2 more. Inhale, lift and open. And exhale, flex the spine. So like create as much of a C curve as you can. 1 more time. Inhale. And finish with the exhale. Perfect. Okay, so now sitting up nice and tall, your hands can stay onto your thighs. Now it's just the focus on the pelvis itself. So we just did those big cat and cows, which is the whole spine. Now I want you to focus on, like, if you had, like, think of an axle of your car or maybe like a rolling pin that goes straight through your hips. So as if your rolling pin is trying to roll backwards, you're going to just scoop the tailbone underneath of you. And then you're going to lift yourself back up. Tailbone goes underneath of you. You're going to scoop that tailbone like an ice cream scoop underneath of you and then lift yourself back up. So it might not look like, or even maybe feel like, a lot of movement is happening, but that curl back and forth, the anterior and posterior tilt of your pelvis is going to be really important to help open up the low back, but also strengthen the lower core. 1 more time. So holding into that C curve. Now reach the arms forward out in front of you, thumbs up, palms in towards each other. Just add a little bit of a rotation. So it's like you're passing a ball to one side, look forward and pass that ball over to the opposite side. So you're holding that little bitty C curve in the low back. Inhale to look forward, exhale to twist. Inhale to look forward, exhale to twist. We'll do 1 more each way. Good, starting very gentle with our movements. And then stack the spine up tall. We'll move down to the legs. Okay, so making sure that your feet are hip distance apart, they're right underneath of the knees. We'll start with just 1 heel, lifting and lowering. We'll do about 8 of these now. So legs are typically the bigger muscles, so sometimes more reps are needed. And remember, these are just the warm-up reps. So I got about 3 more. 2. And 1. Now lower that heel, lift the opposite heel. Okay, so even when we're going through these movements, create resistance for yourself. Like think of, or even use your hand to push down into the knee so that as the heel lifts and lowers, like there's that sense of resistance as if it's trying to lift up through quicksand and trying to sink back down into that quicksand hole. Last 2. And 1. Okay, so now lean your body forward so you are putting that pressure into your thighs. Then as you lift your heels, your body kind of tips back a little bit. As you lower your heels, your body tips forward. So just that tiny little bit of movement to begin. And this is where we can start to, as you're moving both legs, like maybe notice any sort of like strengths on one side or challenges on another side, not weaknesses, just challenges. Okay. You know, words are spells. I saw a quote the other day and it was like, that's why we call it spelling, is because like what you think, what you say, how you say it really does and can make a difference in how you view yourself or your body or your movement. So if you're saying to yourself like, God, like stupid right leg, like why can't you do it? Like, just don't. Like, it's maybe just not as strong as your left leg and it will get there. So now last time to lift up both heels, keep them lifted, and now we're going to alternate. One heel goes down. As that heel goes up, the other heel goes down. So you're alternating into that switch. Okay, so you can press your hands into the thighs, giving yourself that added or extra resistance. Because when we do end up using our weights, whether they're soup cans or dumbbells or water bottles, you will have the weight onto your legs. Okay, so this is just the warm up at this part. Alrighty, now lower both heels down, pull the heels together with your toes slightly apart. This is called a Pilates V position. And really like squeeze your heels together so that there's no space, not even a space for like a cell or an atom to come in between them. Now lift and lower both heels without separating them. As you're lifting the heels, pull them closer together, and this will help to activate more through like the backs of your legs, the inner thighs, a little bit into the glutes as well. So if you don't quite feel that, sometimes it's helpful to like hold on to like the parts of your body where you're trying to feel it. Sometimes you may need inner thighs. Sometimes you might need outer hips, outer thighs, or maybe you need those glutes to activate. And so holding in those spaces can really just tune you in and give you that feedback that we're looking for. Okay, so now when the heels go down, all I want you to do, like hold on and cup the butt a little bit, and then lean your body forward over the legs, and then push yourself back up, pushing your feet into the ground. So it's like you just made a wish into the wishing well, and you're like, did it come true? And then you lean back up. Okay, so as you're tilting yourself forward, keep those knees from opening any wider. So if you're like, okay, I can feel the glutes firing here, then maybe move your hands to your knees and try to close your knees without actually closing your knees. If what I'm saying is like not even making any remote sort of sense, just do the movements. Movement is still going to be medicine for your body. Just like your brain was meant to think, your heart was meant to beat, your body itself was meant to move. So you showing up is just like already half of the battle. One more time, leaning forward and then coming up. Separate the heels so you're back into a parallel foot position. So if you look down at your feet, they look like the number 11. Okay. From there, you're going to stretch and slide your right leg out in front of you and then pull it back in. So it looks like this from the side. Just the right leg. Right leg slides out and pulls back in. As all this is happening though, you're trying to maintain that straight alignment of your spine without kind of like leaning back into it. Don't worry, we'll get there. That is another movement, but I want you to be aware of the stability and the sense of security that you are creating around the waist, around the spine to stay here. 3 more times. Reach and slide the leg away and then pull and drag it in. And so this is really good if you have like, carpet that you're sliding your foot onto, or even if you're wearing shoes and you're sliding that shoe back and forth, you are creating that extra resistance for yourself. Last one. And then you switch 8 times to the left side, reach and pull. And maybe if you're like me and like these socks are starting to get a little bit wear and tear into them, you can maybe feel the carpet or the floor underneath of them. Straighten and bend. 4 more times. Last 3, 2. And after this last one, left foot, go ahead and press it really heavy into the ground. I want you to focus on the left leg, like jamming down into the ground, like it's going to go right to the center of the earth. Now put your left hand underneath of that leg and then relax it. What do you notice? The hand is under the leg, and you can like maybe use both hands, but push back down into the ground. And ideally you might notice like some muscles starting to turn on. So put one hand on top, one hand on the bottom. Maybe you notice like top and bottom starting to turn on. Maybe you notice like glutes starting to turn on. But now you're going to hold that isometric press. So isometric meaning same, or, holding. You're going to hold that position as your right leg slides out in front of you off of the ground and then comes back down. So we're going to try 8 of those, reaching and extending that leg and then pulling it back underneath of you. Exhaling as you press, inhaling as you bend, or press and lift is what I should say. 5. So if you need to hold on to your chair, you can, like your hands can like hold under the chair or press into the front of your chair if your chair has that, if it's wide enough for you. Last 3. 2 more. And after that last one, now put the right foot down, bring your hands over and under the thigh, and 4 times to press into that right foot. Not because you're dragging it away, but you're going straight down, and then relax it. And then press down into that leg, into the foot, and then relax it. Last 2. Now on this last one, you're going to hold that isometric press. Hold it, hold it, hold it as you straighten the left leg and bend it. Okay, so maybe if the leg doesn't come off the ground, that's fine. You're still just straightening it out onto the ground and dragging it back into you. 5 more. Your hands can maybe stay onto the leg or maybe press into your chair or hold underneath of you so that you can stay upright with a little bit of help from your friends. Last 3. 2. And after that last one, relax both legs. Ooh, maybe shake them out a little bit. All right, let's bring the weights into the party here. So you'll grab both of your weights, both of your soup cans or your water bottles. So if I say weights from now on, just these are what we're talking about. You're gonna place them down on top of your thighs and just press your hands into them so they're not really gonna move on you. We're going to start with those heel lifts again. So you can press into them to add more of that weight. You're going to lift and lower those heels up and down. Exhaling as you lift, inhaling as you lower for 6. And now as the heels lift, 5, try to draw the abs inward and upward, 4. So think of like lifting your torso taller because of that ab lift up and in. Last 2. Now hold the heels lifted, last 1, and lower one heel down, lift back up, the other heel down, lift back up. So both heels will always come back up to the top, and then the opposite heel will lower down. 4 more each side. Sometimes those weights start to get a little heavier than expected. Last 2 each side. All right, and then last one each side. Lower both heels down. Your weights come down by your side. Okay, with your palms turned in, your thumbs forward. Now, if during these movements, if the weights start to feel a little too heavy or you start to feel it like up in your neck or in the tops of your shoulders, then please just do this without the weights. Listen to your body first and foremost. That is always going to be the priority here. So we're going to start with a bicep or more of like a hammer curl. So your thumbs come up and then you go back down. So just like how you would hold a hammer. Okay, so this is called a hammer curl. We got about 6 more of these. Inhale to lower. And especially like, because, you know, we're emphasizing the core on these movements, even though it looks like an arm movement, we want to make sure that you're not like swinging the body back and forward to get those weights up. So use your core and think of moving the arms from the core. Last 2. Now hold your bicep curl at the top. Last one, turn your palms to your shoulders and lower the weights down. So your palms are now forward and then your palms are to your shoulders. So this is a bicep curl. Before that was a hammer curl. So with your palms in what's called a supinated grip, we isolate a different head of your bicep muscle. So bi meaning 2. You've got 2 of those muscles that are on the upper arm. 3 more. Try to keep your elbows right next to your rib cage. Last one. Hold your bicep curl. Now this time, turn your palms away from you. And we're going to go down, then turn the palms forward and come back up. So there's this rotation that's happening at the top. Palms down as you go down, palms up as you come up, palms down as you go down, palms up as you come up. So what this is now kind of focusing on is not just by both biceps, but now a little bit more into the forearms. Okay, so helping with grip strength, last 3. Also with dexterity, last 2. So being able to not just hold the dumbbells, but to be able to like rotate around the elbow and the wrist. Final one. Okay, so now lift the dumbbells up. Turn the elbows wide, your palms are forward, and press both weights up overhead. Lower the weights down like you are pulling them down, and then press up overhead, exhale. Inhale, pull back down. Okay, so if you do have like some challenges on one side, keep going, like maybe without the weights. Imagine you had the weights. Yeah, just as long as you're not going to hurt yourself, like reaching up, looking for that range. There you go. Nice job. Last two. Now, one arm you get to choose stays up overhead, last one, and the other arm comes down. Push that arm back up and the other arm comes down. So you're going to hold that arm extension up overhead as the one arm comes down and press back up. The other arm comes down and press back up. Pull and press. Lower and lift. One more each side. Lower, reach. Last time. And reach. Now, lower those arms down out in front of you, slow and controlled. And you're going to put those weights back down onto the thighs. Okay, so we give those arms a little bit of a break. Now, if you do need to scoot yourself up against the chair for a little bit more support, that's great. But ideally, we want to stay towards the front edge of your chair. So we're going to lift up one of your foot's heels. I'm going to do my right side first. So if you see one of my legs moving, that's my right side. So that heel is now lifted. Now, using and pressing your weight and your hand into that leg without actually moving the heel down, like activate through so you can feel extra weight there. Now, using your like abs on that side, on the right side, as well as your hip. I want you to lift that leg up against the weight and lower it back down. So it looks like this from the side. All you're doing is pulling it up and away and lowering it back down. And so you don't have to do this with the heel lift. You can just start with a flat foot and lift and lower, but you are pressing into that right leg with the right hand. 4 more times. Last 3. Here's 2, and we'll switch over to the other side. And final 1. Go for the other side to lift and lower. But think of like it's a press of war instead of a tug of war. Your hand is pressing into your thigh is pressing into your hand. Last 5. And now, especially when we do any sort of unilateral movement, that's a chance for you to notice like, hey, if I lift my leg, does my body lean to the side? Don't let that happen. 3. Try to stay lifting tall to the ceiling. 2. Ooh, these weights are feeling heavy. Last 1. Okay, good. We're still working on legs, but I want you to put the weights down about like a little wider than hip distance apart. And you're going to start with your feet wider than those weights as well. Okay, so if you can't go wider than hip distance apart, or if you can't go wider than what you've placed the weights, then obviously bring the weights closer together. And holding onto the sides or underneath of your chair. So you can press or hold and pull yourself up nice and tall. So starting with one leg, we'll alternate. So one leg lifts up over that weight, taps in between them, lifts back up and out. Like you're stepping over a hurdle or a fence. Step the other leg in, then out, and continue repeating 7 more times each way. So you're using your arms here, even though like maybe it doesn't look like it, but if you wanted to challenge yourself, don't use your arms. Take your hands away. And I can already feel it within my own body that like my body wants to be like, oh, okay, lift that leg up, put it in, put it back. So this takes a bias through the obliques, like the side abs here on the waistline, to make sure that you are not going to like compensate through the movement. So lift tall, press into the leg that is not moving to help stabilize. 2 more each side. Last one with the right leg. And last one with the left leg. Now your legs are out. Go ahead and take your hands down to your thighs and lean forward like you're going in for a really good story. Rotate your torso to the right. Your left shoulder kind of drops to the ground. When you lift and inhale back up, rotate left. Your right shoulder drops to the ground. Continue that 2 more times each way. Moving with the breath. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist. 1 more right. And then left. Okay, now here's the challenge. Start with the hands. Otherwise, if you want to go straight into the challenge, no hands, okay? Keep yourself at a slight hinge back. So your spine is straight, but you are kind of leaning back, okay? Now you're going to use your lower abs, your hips, to lift both legs up, put them inside the weights, lift both legs up, put them outside the weights. So this is where it's like, okay, you're probably gonna need the hands to help you out here, okay? So as you're opening and closing, yeah, step them in, step them out. It's like our own little like jazzercise class right now. And this will get the heart rate going for sure. Because like arms, core, legs, everything is working with you here. Okay, and this is where you try to keep things equal. So if maybe the right side or the left side is moving just a little bit slower than the other side, you slow down the other side so they can move at the same pace. Last two. Stop with the legs on the inside of the weight. So the legs will end together. Lean forward, hands onto the thighs, and turn your fingertips in towards each other. You don't have to have your knees completely touching, but fingertips are in, elbows will go wide, sort of like a bulldog here. So now as you lean forward more, your elbows go wider, 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 and then you push yourself away. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, push yourself away. Okay, 4 more here, 6 total of a wide press. 4, 3, last 2. And then when you come up tall, last one, turn your fingertips forward. So now as you go down your elbows, scrape next to your rib cage and then press away. Now what this does is it isolates a little bit more of your triceps. So if we remember from the beginning of the class, the biceps, you have 2 on the front. Triceps, you have 3 on the back. So 3 is more than 2. So you've got more musculature to help you press away instead of pulling something towards you. Last 1 to go down and last 1 to come up. Okay. So now when you do go down, take your hands away from the thighs, grab your weights. Okay. And you'll just put one of them, I guess you could put them down on the ground, just the one on the ground, or I'm just going to put mine on my chair behind me. And we're going to start to work with more of the spinal movements here. Okay. So holding on to your one dumbbell, the bell of the dumbbell is in each hand. Okay. So I've got like a vertical line there on my dumbbell. All right. I'm going to turn to the side here so you can see what's going on. And with your feet staying on the ground, start to curl the pelvis underneath of you, creating that C curve through your spine and holding that dumbbell just right at chin level, and then lift and stack your spine up tall. Inhale, exhale, curl it back, and then inhale, lift up. So can you press the hands into that dumbbell so you get a little bit more of like chest and back work with the arms, as well as with this spinal movement and ab strength. 4. So remember, like when we come into that C curve, you're trying to scoop the tailbone up towards the nose so we can try to feel more of those lower abs. Last 2. Now we're going to hold that C curve. Last 1. So hold it there and give yourself a little rotation from one side to the next. Two more each way, 4 total. Or I guess 8 total, but 4 each side. 1 more to your first side, last one to your last side. Stack the spine up tall. Keep holding on to that weight though. So that's just a little intermission, and then you come right back into that position, C curve. Now, when you twist 4 more times each way, can you lift the leg that you're twisting towards up towards you? Lower that leg down as you look center. Twist the opposite leg. So if I'm turning right, it's my right leg lifting. If I'm turning left, it's my left leg lifting. Press into that dumbbell like you're gonna like it's a can. If you're holding onto a can, that's perfect. And you're gonna smush the can. 2, 2. Last one each side. And final one, come back up, sit nice and tall, take your dumbbell into the right hand. Okay, so if it looks like my left and you do your left, no, it's not the end of the world. But your left hand, the opposite hand stays on the chair. You're going to press that weight up first, then side bend over and try to keep that weight up to the ceiling. So instead of reaching it over to the side, that's going to be really hard to come back up. So keep it up to the ceiling as your body leans to the left, and then come back up. Then lower that weight down. So 5 more of those. Dumbbell stays up. It doesn't go with you. Your body goes away from that arm. And then lift yourself back up and lower the weight. 4 more. Reach that hand towards the ceiling like you're going to touch it, and then lift back up, bend and stretch for 3. So ideally, we're trying to find a little bit of a stretch on the right side of your body, but coming up to it, you turn it into strength. 2. Good. Now last one. Reach up, try to touch the ceiling. Reach, 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 reach as your body goes away from it. Come back up and switch to the other side. So the left hand is holding onto the weight, or maybe no weight. Reach that arm up to the ceiling first. Touch the ceiling. Lean your body away from it. And then come back up for 6. Bend, press. Keep that arm straight as an arrow, reaching up, 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 up as your body goes down, and then come back up. Lower and lift 4 more times. Okay, and so like movement, as I said before, is medicine. So we get to compare and contrast one side to the other, but it also is a way for our body and our brain and our neurological system, which is obviously very important for MS, to start to like rebuild itself, which is possible. It's called neurogenesis. Last 2. So we create these new pathways, which is basically the essence of neurogenesis, so that we can complete these movement patterns. Awesome. After that last one, lower that weight down, and you can rest it on your lap or put it back behind you, but give yourself a couple of those shoulder shrugs, up, down, back, and around. And you can go in the opposite direction. All righty. So weight goes back into your right hand. But this time I want you to scoot your butt over to the right side as well. Your right leg reaches off to the side. So if you need to like get yourself situated, make sure that there's room off to that side. Okay. Your left hand is down onto the chair. Right hand is just kind of like reaching down between your legs. It still has that dumbbell though. All right, so once you're in that position, make sure both feet are planted flat. If you need to scooch forward or to the side more to get that to happen, go for it. So now it's sort of like you're starting a lawnmower. Your right arm is going to come up and then back down. We'll go there for 6. Pull and lower. Trying to keep that alignment from head to tail. So making sure that your body itself is not trying to like pull it up and in or compensate for that movement. 3, 2, good, and 1. So now moving from arms to legs, your right hand with the weight goes onto the side of your leg. Start to lean your body towards the left until maybe it feels like, ooh, that right leg might lift off a bit. Now, if this feels too heavy with the weight, just put the weight down, do it without the weight. Lift and lower your right leg. So this might be where you have to like, not just press, but actually like pull, underneath of that chair. Try that 3 more times. 2. Good, and last one, sit back tall. I almost said stand back tall. Sit back tall. And with that right palm turned forward, thumb out to the side, you're going to bicep curl, then punch the arm out to the side, lower it all the way back down. Bicep curl up, punch to the right, lower all the way back down. 4 more. Pull, punch, lower, resist. 3 more. Last 2. So now the next time that arm goes out, go ahead and place that weight onto the leg again. Punch it out, lower it down onto the thigh, lean your body towards the left, okay, until it feels like, ooh, that right leg just wants to pop up on its own. So when it's there, hover the leg and slide it forward and back. Don't let it touch the ground. Okay, it's not a rainbow, it's a windshield wiper. Go back and forth. 4. Pull it back from the booty. 3, pull it forward from the core. 2, and final 1. You lower the leg down, you lift your body back up. Now this time with your hammer curl. So remember, thumb is forward, so you have like a north-south of your dumbbell. You're gonna hammer curl up and press up overhead. Lower it right back down the way you came. 6 of those. pull, press, reach, lower, resist back down. 3, press, lower, back down. Last 2. Nice job, you guys. Good. And final 1, lower that arm all the way down onto your thigh. This is our last little set here. Lean to the left. This time again, we are hovering that right leg off the ground and creating little tiny circles in one direction for 6, 5. Reach the leg away from you. 3, 2, and switch directions for 6, 5, 4, 3. Last 2 and 1. Lower that leg down. Nice job. Go ahead and switch the weight over to the other side. Switch the booty over to the other side. Before we do set up into that, or actually when you do set up into that pattern, you can take a side stretch because all that work that was done on the right side, like this is a really great stretch here for you. So right arm up overhead. Your weight can be, in the left arm or kind of helping to pull you into that stretch. Oh, and it should feel really nice, really good. All right, so now right hand comes down to the chair. You're going to start by turning the palm in towards you, like you're starting a lawnmower. You're going to pull up into that high row and lower back down. Last 3, 2, and when that weight goes down, it now goes down onto the thigh. Lean your body to the right. So you're on the cushy, squishy part of your right butt cheek. And so far over to the right that your left leg lifts and then you resist back down to lower. So remember, where you're sitting on the chair also matters. If you're not on the far left edge and you don't have as much chair underneath of your right hip, scooch to your left a little bit more. That will help. 3 more. 2 more. And 1 more. Lower the leg down, lift your body up tall. You have that bicep curl position. So your palm is forward, thumbs out. This is your east and west here. Okay, so you'll pull up, punch out, lower back down, pull, press, and resist back down. Bicep curl, punch to the left, 3 more times. Last 2. And resist back down. 1 more. And this time, place that weight down onto your thigh. Lean your body to the right again. This time we go front to back. So lift that leg, hover that lift, and pull the leg forward and back. Oh, and I'm so sorry, Mr. Plant. Trying not to kick my plant, but I don't know. This is the one plant that's growing great. So maybe he likes it. Forward and back 3 more times. On that angle, this is where it challenges those obliques on that left side. So when we take that stretch at the end of the series, it's going to feel so yummy. 1 more time forward, last time back, then set that foot down. You have that north-south hammer curl position of you holding onto your weight to pull up, press overhead, lower down, and come back down. Pull, press, lower, lower, pull, reach, lower, lower. Last 3, I think. If not, then we just get extra credit. 2 more. Nice job, you guys. Good. And final 1, go ahead and lower that long arm down onto the thigh. We finish here with circles. Lean to your right, lift and hover that leg and circle for 6, 5 little tiny circles. You're tracing the shape of a quarter. 2 and 1. Switch directions for 6, 5. Pull the head back. You don't have to look down at your foot. It's moving. Don't worry. It's there. Last 2 and 1. Lower that leg down. Slide it back underneath of you. You can put the weight down to the ground or back behind you so it doesn't roll away from you. And then we'll take our stretch up over to the right side to open up that left side. So all of that oblique strength that was holding you out, reaching to the right is going to feel really nice right here. Woo. And let's just go to the left side, right arm up overhead, so you can tell the difference. Okay, notice the difference. Now, when your left arm reaches back up overhead, go ahead and rotate it down to grab to your outside right thigh. One more inhale, one more exhale, then lift and rainbow that left arm up, switch to the right arm up and over as you rotate and press your right hand to your left thigh. Hold as you breathe. Never hold the breath, just hold the pose. Okie doke. Good. Stack the spine up tall. Grab both of your weights this time. Okay, so we've got cerviplatter, chest expansion, a little bit of rotation with that chest expansion, as well as our rows on the menu coming up here. So your elbows are going to start right next to your rib cage. Feet are flat, hip distance apart. And so as you reach your arms forward out in line with the shoulders, pull them back in. Exhale as you press forward. Inhale as you pull back in. Resist the urge to kind of like lean your body back into it. Don't do that. Instead, stay upright. Last two. Okay, and then final one. Now, as you'll lower your arms down by your side, turn your palms back behind you for chest expansion. Your palms pull back, and this helps to open your chest. Sometimes what happens, and what we don't want to happen, is when your arms pull back, we kind of like round the body forward just to get the arms back. That's a no-no. We want to pull and open the chest as your arms go back behind you, and then stay there open as your arms come forward. Repeat 3 more times. 2 more. Try to be aware if your body is like kind of chicken necking your head forward. Don't let that happen. Last one. So now 3 more sets of that. What's going to happen is you pull and hold your arms back, look right, look left, then release and look forward. So inhale as your arms pull back and hold the breath. Look left, look right. Exhale, look forward, release forward. Repeat. So that was 1 set. Pull back, hold, inhale, look right, left, exhale, look forward, pull back, inhale, hold back, look left, look right, exhale, release forward. So that was set number 2. Final one, finish strong. Pull back, hold back, inhale, look right, look left, exhale, release forward. So this is a nice neck stretch, a nice chest opener. Look left, look right, and then exhale, look forward. All right, so now bring those weights back up so they're like in front of your shoulders here. Now, holding those weights out in front of you can get heavy really fast. So understand that like, okay, maybe I need to lower the weights down on one side or not use the weights at all while I'm doing this. So you're going to hold those weights out in front of you. One arm pulls back as the other arm punches forward. So here's that rotation. Here's that row. Then both arms go forward. Pull back to the other side, rotate, 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 and then punch forward. We got 4 each side or 8 total. One arm pulls back, bend the elbow, punch forward, the other arm pulls back, bend the elbow. 2 more each side. Exhale as you twist, like you're wringing out a towel. That towel is your spine. Exhale as you pull. Okay, so one arm pulls, one arm pushes, always with that oppositional energy. Last time, last side. And then both arms forward and down onto your thighs, okay? Press the weights into your thighs, press or try to pull your thighs up into your hands. No movements happening though. So even though it doesn't look like much is going on, there's a lot of energy that's starting to warm up and build up into the core, into the hips. Okay, so remember again, if this is too challenging, just remove the weights. We'll start with whatever side you want to start with. So lift up that leg. Lower it back down. We'll start with those 4 first. Lift and lower. I know we've already been here before, but this is going to be with a leg extension. 2. Now hold that leg lifted, last one, and straighten the leg out. Lower that straight leg down and then slide it in. 4 of those. So if it feels like the edge of your chair is in the way, scoot your butt forward. Lift, extend, lower with control, and drag the foot back in. Lift, extend, lower, and drag. Lift, extend, The image that comes to mind for me is like a horse that's like really trying to like drag its hoof down into the ground. So that was number 4. Let's switch to the right side, just a lift and lower for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now hold that leg lifted. Sorry, I missed that one. Hold the leg lifted, extend it out, lower down with control, and drag it in. Lift, reach, and slowly lower, drag it back in. And 2 more times. Ooh, and pull it back in. This is really heavy with these 3-pounders, and drag it back in. All right, from there, we'll place those weights down back behind you or down onto the ground. Just get them out of the way. And so with your, let's start with the right leg first. If you want to go left, go for it. So right leg is going to slide out to the side so that you can like kind of turn your body where you have the corner edge of your chair right between your legs. Okay, so if you look down, like there's the corner edge of the chair. But we're going to be focusing on the right leg here for a moment. Your hands can press into the chair or grab under the chair to help you sit up tall. Watch that the body doesn't move. But start lifting and lowering the heel for 4, 3, and we can add the weight in just a moment too. Let's get used to the movement first. 1. So now the heel lifts, the leg lifts and lowers it back down. Now, when that leg lifts, what the body wants to do is like, pull it back. No. Use the abdominals and the hips to lift that leg up. Final one. Woo. Okay, so now 4 more. You lift the heel, you lift the leg, you extend it out and lower down. Drag it back in. So it's the same thing as what we're doing, facing to the front. Lift, lift, extend, and drag. Lift, lift, extend, and drag. But being in this turned out position challenges the external rotators of your hips a little bit or a lot a bit more. All right, so extra credit. You keep going if that felt challenging enough, or add the weight on top of your thigh. Lift the heel, lift the leg, extend and bend or lower down and drag. Lift, lift, reach, lower, drag. 2 more. Final one. Ooh. All right, so now you're already set up. Your left leg can go right into it. So lift and lower the heel first for 4, 3, 2, and hold the heel lifted. Now try lifting your left leg up and down. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now heel lifts, leg extends and lowers down. Scooch forward because the edge of the chair is like all up in my thigh, and that's not comfortable. You want to have the edge of your chair kind of like right at the crease of your butt so it doesn't get in the way of the movement. 2, and final 1. Okay, extra credit. You keep going if you need to, or add the weight for extra credit. From there, lift the heel, lift the leg, extend it out, reach away, then drag it back in. There's a really big like hip strengthener right here. Now notice what's going on the right side. Is it really pressing into the earth? The answer should be yes. Like to help you stabilize. 2. Whew. And after that final one, drag the foot in, place that weight back down. And actually don't place it down. Grab both of your weights. Bring both legs back forward in front of you. And so you're holding onto those weights into your hands. Feet are pretty close together. They can touch if you'd like to, but you're using these weights to kind of help and aid you into a nice back stretch here. So we're going to start going very slow. Think of like a candy cane and make that candy cane shape through your spine, chin to chest. Start to round the shoulders forward slightly. Resist the way down. You're not just going like boom into the movement. You're trying to, I know this sounds weird, but try to lift your spine up as it goes down. So you're creating the space into this flexion. Let the weights carry you into the movement. Now, once you're like, okay, I feel like this is as far as I can go, just stay there, breathe there. And maybe notice on the exhale, you can go just a little bit more. Little bit more. One more inhale. And from there, push into your feet. Start to stack bone by bone, almost like your spine was a pearl necklace, one pearl at a time, lifting up tall and long. And then eventually the top of your head is the last to unravel itself. We'll do that one more time. So you'll nod the chin towards the chest. Round the shoulders forward, not to collapse through the spine, but to actually like hollow out your chest. So there's still room for the air to flow in and out, but you get that sense of stretch and lengthening between the shoulder blades, where you might wear a heart rate monitor or a bra strap line, where the back of your waistline is. Oh, and as you're reaching slightly forward and down with your hands, your tailbone stays super heavy and cemented into the mat or into the chair. Now you might notice, oh, I can go down a little bit further than that last time. So now push into your feet, curl, or I guess uncurl the body, nice and tall. As you stack up, take a big breath in and a big breath out. Soften the shoulders even more. Now from there, lift up your shoulders. Lower down the shoulders, 3. Lift. Let the weights help the shoulders come down from the ears. Stop wearing them like earrings, 2. And final one. Beautiful. Place one of the weights back down. And now the one weight that I have is in my right hand. It's going to be a punch across for a little bit more rotation here. So left arm is anchored down into the chair for me. You're going to punch that arm across the body and then pull it back in. So if you are trying to make this more of a dynamic movement, just make sure you're not kind of like leaning off to the side and then pulling yourself back. So stay lifted, head to tail alignment, head to tail alignment. That's apparently hard for me to say. Let's go. 3 more. Pull in. 2 more. Pull in. Last one. Pull in, switch to the left side. Right hand stays on the chair. And you punch across, pull in. Reach across, pull in. Yeah, how far can that arm get away from you? Like it's like, get away. 3 more. Last 2. And final 1. Nice. Now take it back into your right arm. Now, this is where you do need to be a little bit careful. So take the first couple of movements slow. So we reach up and over, but if you go too far, you might not be able to come back. So this is weighted, obviously. If it feels like you need a little bit more support, your feet can go further away from each other. So we reach up and over and then pull that weight back down. Inhale. And exhale. So this is not only just a stretch through the right side, but also a big strength through the shoulder and the upper body. Last 3, 2, and after that last one, switch to the other side. Left hand reaches up. Oh yeah, pulls back down. And think if you had like a pane of glass in the front and back side of your torso, try not to touch it. So you're not like twisting to get that arm. We're going up and over. 2 and 1 and pull it back down. Nice job. All right, let's put those weights off to the side. We'll finish with some stretches here. So step your feet out wide if they're not already there. Your hands can hold on to the chair back behind you and let your right or left knee come inward. So this is called internal rotation of your hips. When your knee kind of turns inward, it helps to stretch like the deep, like these muscles are very tiny, but like if you think of a doorknob and how you have to twist a doorknob with your fingers around the doorknob, like think of those as like your muscles. So this rotation inward, it might feel very deep. It might not feel like a stretch at all. It's very subtle and sometimes kind of hard to tune into. So just be aware of that. Maybe notice if you do feel anything. Open that right leg, go down to the left side. Okay. So this stretch is probably not a very common stretch, but it is like just as important as the external rotation, which most of you will probably recognize. If you've been to my classes before, like there have been some questions like, how do I get like into that like deeper stretch, or like, I don't feel anything on my external rotation. Why is that? The internal rotation probably needs to be worked more. Okay, so now open that left leg. You'll bring the legs back together. You can lift or grab your right ankle and place it onto your left thigh. So most people understand or know this stretch. Maybe it's like a piriformis stretch. You've heard it called that, or a figure 4 stretch, or even like a pigeon pose, like from yoga class. But you can like press gently into your knee, always keeping your foot in a flat or flexed foot position, just to help protect the knee joint itself. But by leaning forward, you stretch more of the fibers in the glutes. Okay. If that feels too intense, you just lift yourself back up. But always breathing deep into it. So lengthening and strengthening is basically like a really great, like you can feed 2 birds with 1 seed when you're doing Pilates, like when it comes to strengthening and lengthening. Like you don't just strengthen, and then like, oh, I don't have time to stretch. So then muscles just get tighter. Like Pilates is so good for everyone. Go ahead and switch to the other side because of that stretch and strength component. Switch with your left ankle on top of your right thigh, always keeping your foot in that flat or flexed foot position, and then choosing to either stay lifted or tall or lean your body forward. But these extra little stretches at the end of the class are just a nice little cherry on top. I highly recommend staying for the stretches, but of course I understand if there's not enough time in your day, although if you did put it on your calendar from 7 to 8, if you're here with us live, you know that like this is the whole class. You got to get your time's worth. All right, so now lift up, take the feet out and away from each other, back into that wide stance position. Okay, and your right elbow is going to go down to your right thigh. Your left arm reaches up overhead. And just take that nice side body stretch. Now, as you're here, try to spiral or pull your left shoulder back a little bit more so that your shoulders are stacked on top of each other. Sometimes we like to just collapse down or look down, but if you actually open the chest, again, you get more of that like double whammy. Go ahead and bring your left arm down to your left thigh. Your right arm reaches up overhead. And your hand or your arm kind of comes close to, but it's not touching your ear, but spiral your shoulder, your right shoulder back a little bit more. And maybe you can like look up towards the ceiling or test to make sure you put on some deodorant today. And then bring your hands now down to the thighs. So both hands onto the thighs, lean forward for that really good story that somebody's telling, and twist your torso from right to left or left to right. 3 times each. So I've got 1 more each side. Awesome. Okay. And so I'm going to bring my right leg out in front of me. So heel toe it in front of me and then reach it out in front of me. So with the left leg off to the side, it's kind of like a counterbalance. If it feels like you leaning forward is going to tip you off the chair, just scoot your butt back a bit. And then your hands can hold on to the chair or kind of slide down your right leg. Just make sure you're not pressing into your knee to get into like, you don't want to hyperextend the legs. But this is just a great opportunity for a hamstring stretch. And depending on where your body carries tension, you might feel this in the low back getting a stretch. Remember, never pain, never discomfort, but just right. We want to find that Goldilocks stretch and position. All right, so now when you're ready, go ahead and stack your spine up tall, put the right foot off to the side out of the way. Your left leg comes out in front of you. Try your best to turn your torso towards that left leg, and you can either walk your hands down the leg, watching out for the knee, or resting your hands onto the right leg or onto your chair for support. Amazing. When you come back up, go ahead and pull those legs back up underneath of you. This time you are going to scoot yourself as far back as you can so you can feel the back of your chair if you have one, and pull one leg into your chest and just give it a nice big squeeze in, like you're hugging somebody you haven't seen in a while. And you can grab in front of the shin like I'm showing you here, or grab behind the thigh and then release that leg down. Finish with the other side. Pulling it up and in. And this is going to help to stretch like that lower back part of your thigh or butt. And like you're pulling it up and in as close as you can up to the armpit or into your chest. Okie doke. Well done today, you guys. Happy Monday. Again, my name is Ray, and I just appreciate you guys always coming to class or tuning in on YouTube. So it's always good seeing new faces, but also all the ones that keep coming back. So until next time, you guys, I'm going to stop the recording. And if you have any questions, you can ask them in the chat or on the, if you want to come off of mute.